the esteemed beings that I hang around with, they do not want you doing enlightenment like they did or like I did. They have no concept of living ascension. That's why if you go to them and ask them about what it's going to be like or what it is like right now in a quasi-enlightened state, you know what? They have no idea. Don't believe them if they start giving you advice. Don't even believe me, because you're doing it different. The energy, particularly starting with this event of December 21st, but actually going way back when, the energy is very different. Consciousness is different, and the word enlightenment is different. When I say enlightened master, most of you have some image of a guru sitting up on top of a mountain in total bliss. You know what? I'll tell you right now, one thing I do know by watching you, you as an enlightened being are not going to be a bliss ninny. You're not. Bliss ninny. Would you write that, Ricky? You're not going to hang around public restrooms in white robes, sprinkling smoke and water on people. No, you're going to be real. You're going to be in life. You are going to be more clear and more arrogant and stronger than I am with you. No, truly. Why? Because as an enlightened being living on the planet, your tolerance level is going to be low. And you probably thought enlightened beings just had all this patience. Not at all. You're going to have less patience than I do. You're gonna, when somebody comes to you and starts spewing macchio all over your newly shined expensive shoes, you're going to cut them off faster than I've ever been rude to you at the microphone. Why? No patience. Why? Because you are going to know it can be done. There are no excuses. You did it. You know, the worst person against smoking is one who used to smoke, Caldra. Why? Because they know you can quit. They don't have patience for it. Everybody else says, well, maybe we should give them some space to smoke. The ex-smoker is like, put it out now. The ex-muggle is, I don't have time for your stories. And neither do you. I do not have time for your feeding that you are trying to do on me right now, and I call you on your game, you vampire. See, you're going to be terrible. You're going to make me look like a saint, which I am. You've been modeling yourself after, and I'm sorry here, children under 18, please walk away from the internet right now. You've been modeling yourself after Yeshua.
Oh.
Please, that is not Andra, she knows. That is not a good example. It's actually not necessarily what really happened either. But along the way, there are certain beings and religions and churches that said, yeah, boy, that's what we'll do. We'll put them on a cross like you ever tried doing something bad. And it was about human suffering, really. That's not what Yeshua wanted. So there is this model also of Yeshua as this holier than thou being. He wasn't. He fornicated. He drank. He got drunk and puked. Yes, yeah. No, he really did. And he told racist jokes.
I knew you couldn't go the whole meeting without getting to me.
He told politically incorrect jokes about the Romans. Wouldn't you have if you lived in Jerusalem back then? Hey, did I tell you about the Roman who... So that's a model that's imprinted into many of you. And then you hear the stories of walking on water. That was totally fabricated. totally fabricated. And the stories of the healing. Yeshua was the first to say he wasn't a healer, but he knew how to bring out the healing within you. He knew how to get so laser focused. And he wasn't necessarily nice about it. A beggar or a sick person would come up to him. He didn't do the, oh, you poor thing. But he's like, are you going to heal yourself or not? And he would look them straight in the eye. And when they started doing the mumbo jumbo, he would laser focus on them until they felt it within themselves. And then he would basically say to them, when I see you next time, you better be dead or healed. That, you laugh, that is what you're going to be doing, because you're not going to have the patience for all the games, all the feeding that's going on, all the excuses. What we're going through here today, my dear friends, we're talking about getting stuck. We're talking about the other things. We're taking it pretty nice and slow. Unless you're new online, you probably already tuned out by now. We're going slow. You're not going to have the patience for it. You're going to say, get rid of the old models, the old concepts of what you thought enlightenment is going to be. Let those go. This state of perfection or turning lead into gold or any of the rest of those things, it's all child's play. And the funny answer is yes, you can actually do that in enlightenment. But you don't run around using that to prove that you're enlightened first. Say, when I learn to turn lead into gold, then I'll know I'm enlightened. Other way around. Other way around. It's about enlightenment. Now, there are other models, Buddha, which I just mentioned. Buddha did it with a lot of suffering, which you don't need to do, but somehow you like to walk in Buddha's shoes or sandals, walk along that same path. Why? Buddha gave up his family and then tormented himself mentally more than physically, but physically for sure. You don't need to do that. So let us, and just think for a moment of the other supposed masters. And think first, let's be real practical, think of the funny clothes they wore, the masters that have come before you. When you think of a master, you think of funny clothes, sheets and towels and turbans and funny things like that.
Wasn't that in style then? No?
Yes, but you still yes, it was. It was in style. But you still think in terms of that. Begging wasn't in style, but you still think in terms of that. In other words, the poor master. You think in terms of giving up everything and having nothing, walking around as a beggar. Why?